Hey folks, Jeff here at Back to Country. Today is a pretty exciting day. So I've been kind of hinting that I had something in the works. And of course, if you're following along, you know that we've been working on our metal building and that I'm up here by myself, so that I've been unable to make any progress on it. Additionally, I did have some reservations about just Lorena and I doing the roof, and well, I've solved that problem. So Lorena has no idea this is going on. She knows that I was thinking about it, but what she doesn't know is a friend of ours that is a general contractor is bringing his crew on Monday. Today's Saturday. Is bringing his crew Monday morning bright and early, and they're gonna finish this building for us. So they're gonna get the roof on and finish out the trim work. So when Lorena shows up next week, this hopefully will be done, and that will be a big surprise for her. So some things I need to get done before the contractors show up to put the roof on. I'd like to get all my tape in place for the thermal break tape along the top purlins. That'll make sure they don't have to do it and be able to speed up the process a little bit. So what I'm hoping I can do is reconfigure my scaffolding a little bit, move the platform up to the top so I can stand on the top of it, and then hopefully I'll be able to wheel that thing along and do two beams at a time, put thermal break tape on them, and just keep moving along until I get all those done. We'll see how that works out. And other than that, I've got to start getting supplies and everything in position and ready. So I've got to go get all the different types of tape, different roofing pieces. I got some scattered trim pieces that need to be brought down, and basically get everything ready so that when they show up Monday to go to work, everything is here and ready for them. And we're hoping that 2 days we can get this all done. So I don't know if he's bringing a crew of 4 or 5 people, I think, but hopefully they can get this thing done in 2 days, and that'll be awesome. So that's where we're at. Stick with us. Let's see how it goes. All right, folks, it's a great day here at Back to Country. We are back to work on the building. Got a big surprise for my wife. She has no idea this is going on. She'll be up here in a couple days, and I'm hoping that the building is going to be totally finished. I've got a friend that's a general contractor, and I've hired him and his crew to finish out the trim and do the roof. And so they are hard at work this morning getting it done. So we're starting out there. They're putting the corner trim on. They'll get that on the 4 corners, and then they'll start on the eaves and the rake trim. And once that trim is up, well, then we're going to go to work on that roof. And hopefully, like I say, today and tomorrow we'll get her done. And then we'll be headed up to Missouri to go pick up our doors. Come back, get those doors on, and we will be dried in. So things are looking great. All right, folks, we're making progress. So you can see there at the top the eave trim. Put that up today. And if we come inside, you can see the far side, the roof's going up over halfway in the enclosed area. So They're approaching the 60-foot mark right now. So it's all going pretty good. Once this side's done, then we've got to do the other side and then put on this cap to finish her out. And then more trim, of course. Well, day one. One side of the roof just about done. The whole inside section, 80 feet there, is done. And we'll go out and look at the patio. And you can see the outside section is all done except one piece that fits the end. But before we can put that piece up there, I've got to weld one more piece of that rake angle. So I welded some on the top, but I also need a piece on the bottom. So I'll get that welded on tomorrow morning, and I imagine they'll continue with the other side, and then when they get both of them down to this end, they can put the rake trim on this end, finish up all the trim and everything, and then the center cap, and that should just about wrap this thing up. So should be a little bit faster tomorrow, because today the first thing they did when they got here was they did all the corner trim. You can see that red trim that closes up the corners, and then they started on all the eave trim, and that's the red trim at the top that comes down the sides there. So the roof panels go over the top of that, so they had to put that on first. So they went ahead and did both sides, so tomorrow they're ahead of the game. They can start laying down panels pretty much immediately. Once I get this end welded over here, then like I say, they'll be able to finish up the panels on this end, either by trimming them or doing overlap. However they decide to do it, we'll see. Well, folks, it's another amazing day out here in the woods. And one of the reasons it's amazing is because Lorena will be here in a couple hours, so that makes it better. And it's really going to be good because she has no idea that we put the roof on the building. So she's in for a big surprise. So we put in 2 days of work. I hired a crew, and we put in 2 days of work on this, and we got her about, I don't know, I'm going to say 90–95%. Let's take a look, and I'll show you what we did, and I'll show you what's left. Okay, so starting out down here on the far end, of course, you can see the corner trim is on there. That's what seals those corners up so that the bugs and everything can't get in there. Of course, we'll spray foam it from the inside, so they'll be sealed even tighter, but that's how they do it. Up on the top, you see the rake trim, and that basically goes over and seals to the top of the roof and then comes down and seals to the side of the building. So I do believe we still need to put some closure tape on that. So basically it's a foam tape that goes in between the trim and the building. We've got it, so Lorena and I will do that. And I guess then we'll come look at this side. You can see the eave trim, and of course the roof sticking out above it. And our plan is to put rain gutters on top of that so that we can collect the rain off the roof, and then that'll come down. And I think I'm gonna do an underground pipe system, and all that rainwater will run into that system and then to our tanks. But I'm gonna talk to Lorena about that, just a little bit different idea that I have, so we'll see what it develops into. Looking at the inside, of course, you can see that the roof is solid and all dried in, so that's a good deal. It rained this morning, actually poured. We had a thunderstorm come through, got about 1/4 of an inch of rain, but it came pretty fast. And the only place that got wet was this side over here. It was basically coming in the doorway. I guess that's the direction the wind was blowing, so this whole area was wet. I came out and walked around just to make sure there was no leaks inside the building, and there were none. So good deal, everything looks great there. On this side, of course, we got the same thing. You've got the eave trim at the top sitting under the overhang of the roof, and of course rain gutters there as well. And we do need to put that foam tape in all along that eave trim. That just seals that up so bugs and stuff can't get in there, even though there will be foam on the inside, so they wouldn't be able to get into the building through there. I just want to make sure that that is sealed as well, because I don't want bees building beehives inside there or anything, getting any ideas that, hey, there's enough space in there that if we stretch it out the length of the whole building, it looks cozy. I don't want to do that, so we're going to make sure we seal all that up. Corner trim here, and underneath this eave trim, we've still got to put another trim in that is called an eave spacer, and that's because of this patio configuration. So we've got to put that in. And on this end, we have 2 more panels to put on. Of course, they're not full panels, they're partial panels. And you can see they did put the ridge cap there just temporarily that's overhanging. The ridge panels will do the same thing, and then we'll have another rake trim that will go along the top there and close all that in nice and pretty. So we've got some trim work to do on this end and a couple of short pieces of panel. They'll probably just cut these panels and you know, put on the half piece or less, rather than mess around with trying to overlap and do the whole thing. And we do have 2 panels left for that purpose, so we're good to go. Of course, up there at the top, you can see a little gap between the roof and the building. There is trim that goes all along there, and we'll close that all in tight. And that's how we'll make sure that no bugs or anything get in there. So just to recap, it looks like we've got some trim work to do, mainly on this end, putting up the rest of the eave spacers on the patio and the rake trim on the end, and two panels got to be cut and fitted, and then all the trim that goes up under there. Of course, in addition to that, down the sides, putting in the foam seal tape, whatever you call it, panel tape, I don't remember, I forgot already, but my mind don't work always. I could tell you any other time, but right now, for some reason, I went blank. Anyway, it's the foam tape that's conformed to the R panels. It's the shape of the panels, and it'll go up underneath those eaves at the bottom to seal that all up tight. So closure tape, that's what it's called. Anyway, so we'll put that tape on there, and both sides. I think Lorena and I can easily do that one. And Lorena and I will probably do that eave spacer, the trim on this as well. And then I'll probably have the crew come back and finish the last panels and put the rake trim on the end there, because unfortunately when you do the trim, there's not a lot of tutorials on how to do it. It's really hard to find, and it seems that whoever does your trim, they all have their own technique. So For example, this building came with some big boxes, all like right there they are. We'll call them big god-awful boxes. And normally those go at the point, at the peak. So peak boxes for the rake trim. And they join the trim together, and you got this big old box there. Well, these guys that did mine, they have their own technique, and you can see they created a nice seam there between the two different pieces of rake trim, where it just comes together and joins up nicely. And so I actually like that much better. Instead of having that big old giant box sitting at the peak, they joined it together smoothly. So I want to make sure the other side is done the same way, and that's one of the reasons why I want to bring them back to finish it, because unfortunately I did not learn their technique when they did that. I was working on the other end of the building, welding up some rake angle for the trim over there. And on this end here, they kind of left it open, and that's so that our rain gutters will kind of fit right in there, and then we'll adjust from there. So everything's looking great. I mean, the building is awesome. When you go inside, I mean, here I'm in one corner, and you kind of scan the building, and man, it's just awesome. So loving the size of this thing. I mean, sure, I wish it was bigger, but it'll have to do. Anyway, so now we're gonna wait for Lorena to get here and see if we can capture her surprise, because I'm actually gonna have her pull her car in through those doors right there and probably drive over and park in the space over here so that she's away from the doors. And that's just like having her car completely inside, so that if there's a storm or anything while she's here, her car won't even get wet. And then, of course, let's see, today is Wednesday, and I think Monday we're going to head for Missouri. So we're going to go get the doors. And that's the next big project on this building, is putting those doors up. Of course, that closure tape and stuff we'll do as well, but the doors are the big project. So I've never hung a garage door before, and of course I didn't start out with easy ones. These are 14 by 14 with everything commercial, big 3-inch tracks and heavy duty wheels, etc. So should be a bit of a learning curve, but I'm sure once we get the first one, the other two will go much easier. So that's what we got to look forward to as far as building progress. Of course, once the doors are done, then the next thing we'll be looking to do is spray foam this whole thing. And that'll be awesome, because once this thing's all dried in and spray foamed, it'll stay much cooler in here. And then, of course, we can start our build, but before we start our build, we actually plan to move. So we've decided that once we finish this, when we get the spray foam in here and we're all secure with doors and the whole bit, then the next step is to actually move. So we'll be hauling all of our household goods out of our house in San Antonio and trying to get up here full time. Of course, big process there, because we're doing a do-it-yourself move, and so that's going to take us several trips to do that. And we're going to pre-stage all our stuff in here, and then we'll work it into the containers and stuff as we go. And then, of course, we got to get our house on the market, and we'll see how long that takes. Currently, my daughter is living there as well, so I'm not just gonna sell out from under it and kick her out. She finishes college in December, so we'll keep the house at least into next year. But that's where we're at. Stick with us. Let's see how it all goes. Well, I've been stalking Lorena on 360 app, and I see she just turned onto the property. So here she comes, and perfect timing because I just finished cleaning up the road a little bit. I took the dozer down there and scraped up that silt and then compacted over it. Took out some ruts that were there from the runoff just to make it smoother for her car. Unfortunately, this hill is still not pretty, but she shouldn't have a problem making it. She's probably taking it really slow coming up the hill. Wait, I see her coming around the corner.
I just saw that! Oh my god, this is incredible! This is so exciting! Come here, Whiskey! Come over here! Come on! Good boy! Oh, good boy! Good boy! Good boy!
Psst, psst.
Where is Daddy? Where's Daddy?
Whiskey boy.
Why you didn't tell me?
Surprise!
Oh, ay, bendito sea Dios. Oh my gosh.
All right, we got everything pretty much unloaded, and I told Lorena, why don't you park your car inside? That way, if we get a hailstorm or something, she don't have to worry about her car. Said she was so focused on the road, she didn't even notice the roof was on until she got all the way the other side of the building. Now you'll be able to see size-wise with her driving her car around in there. Yeah, that'll do. Maybe I'd like it a little bigger, I don't know. Well, we'll make it work. Yeah, that car looks tiny in there.